Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. Patients come to me all the time. I've been in practice over 40 years. And patients come to me and say, Dr. Joe, this is my lifestyle. And they'll write down their food, they'll write down their lifestyles, and a lot of things that they think are healthy are not. So today we're going to talk about bad habits that you consider, not you, the generic you, consider normal. Bad habits that you consider normal. And what to do about them, more importantly. And there's a lot of them. I don't even know if I'm going to get close to even finishing them today. If not, maybe I'll do a part two. So most people don't wake up one day and they're sick. They don't have cancer, they have heart disease, they don't have diabetes. It takes time. They're tired, they're inflamed, they're groggy, they're overweight, they're in pain. And that's not normal. It's average, but it's not normal. So let me explain the difference between normal and average. Average is we take 100 people. We do a test, their blood pressure, whatever it is. We take that, add them all up, divide by 100, that's the average blood pressure. Sometimes we say that's normal, but it's average. There's a big difference. Normal is what you should be. Normal is perfect. Average is what most people are. For example, when I donate blood. If I donate blood, my blood comes out pretty quickly. In fact, I remember one time it was me and a heavyset woman next to me, and they put the needles in our arms exactly the same time. And my bag was full, and her bag was only half full. Her blood was so thick, I'm assuming from the poor diet she had, that her blood took a long time to come out of her body. My blood flowed very freely. My blood was bright red. Hers was kind of burgundy-ish. And so there's a big difference. So that's normal versus average. Because even when I remember that one time I was talking to one of the techs at the blood bank, and I said, watch my blood. It comes out pretty quick. Yeah, whatever. And all of a sudden, now they have beepers. It goes beep, beep, beep. And he comes over. He goes, wow, that was quick. Because I keep myself healthy. I drink a lot of fluids. My blood it flows through my body very easily. And that slows down the aging process. It helps my kidneys, my liver, my prostate, my heart. That's normal. It's not average. So a lot of people consider these things normal, but they're not. So let's jump right in. Sitting all day. Our bodies are not designed to sit. Now, I'm as guilty of this as pretty much anybody else. If I'm at my office, I'm maybe writing a script for an article or for a TV show, radio show, podcast. I'm doing research. I'm answering questions on my website because a lot of you send questions through my website. And I sit. And when I find myself after about an hour, I start to get a little antsy. I start moving around and I go, oh, time to get up. So I get up. I walk around the building, go outside if it's right. Even if it's not perfect weather, I'll go out with an umbrella or something, or it's cold, go out just to go and keep the body in motion. So I want you to think of ways that you can do things without sitting. Well, for my life, if I'm doing a radio show or a podcast, I do it standing up. That's pretty simple. When I talk to patients, I'll sit down, but then many times I'll stand up and continue talking to them. So I want you to start looking for ways to keep the body in motion. Some tricks might be every commercial that comes on TV, get up and walk around till the commercial's over. Or just do squats, or just do leg lifts. You just get up on your toes and do toe lifts. Swing your arms back and forth. March in place. If you do that every time a commercial comes on, you're going to get an amazing workout in every day. How easy is that? Quick, easy, free. And you can watch the commercials if you want to, or get up and do something. Move around. If I'm on a telephone taking a long call, if I don't have to be at my desk, I get up and I walk. Now, I don't want you putting your phone next to your head. Because if you ever read the small print on your phone, which no one ever has, that little tiny mouse print, I don't know if it's plural, it says do not put next to your head. Your phone says don't put next to your head. And what do you do every day? Put the phone next to your head. You want to hold it a few inches away from your head. Better yet, use a speaker. So if I'm in a place where I can walk and talk, I'll put my phone on speaker and I'll just talk into the phone that way. If I'm in the car, or if I don't want somebody here, I'll put a wired headset. Because the new craze, of course, is these wireless earbud things. You put them in and your phone could be somewhere else and you're hearing things and you're talking. That really increases what's called the electromagnetic frequency. I've been talking about electromagnetic frequency since I've learned about it decades ago. And I'm happy to see that now there's actually a political move, a government move, and this is not a political statement, on let's try to limit our electromagnetic frequency. And I thought it was bad when we had 4G. Then we went to 5G. And 5G, you see these towers, towers really aren't big towers like they used to be. They're on the side of buildings now. So if I have a 5G tower on my building where I work or where I live, and it's absorbing these, who knows how many EMFs, electromagnetic frequency waves every day, it's not good for me. So get up and walk. Use your wired headset or your speaker. Now, I'll tell you a story about myself with cell phones as I go off on a tangent here. A couple of months, I was noticing that when I drove, my right butt cheek and hip were sore. And if I got up and moved around, within a few, like 30 seconds or so, it went away. So I didn't think much about it. I went and got my chiropractic adjustment. One of my doctors, Dr. Kat Walter, she checked me and she says, oh, your gluteal muscle is turned off. What that means, it's just not strong. So she kind of jump-started my gluteal muscle, helped for a couple of days, went back again. And I started thinking, what am I doing differently? Driving the same car, sitting in the same desk, working in the same office. I noticed I was carrying my cell phone in my right back pocket. And right where the cell phone was my pain. So I said, all right, I always tell people not to carry their cell phones close to their bodies, but if you're walking or something, what do you carry it? So I just started carrying it in my hand for a while. And after about 4 or 5 days and about 2 adjustments, chiropractic adjustments later, no more hip pain. It's gone. So think about that, where you carry your cell phone. If you carry it in your breast pocket, it can increase electromagnetic frequencies into the breast tissue, especially for women. May not be good for the cells. There's some early research on this saying it's not good for breast cells, but why take the chance? So put your cell phone away from your body. You can put it in a coat pocket if you want to. Put it on your desk. When I sleep, I put my cell phone across the room and I plug it in to charge it. So when my alarm goes off, I have to get up and go get it, of course. That's fine. But don't put your cell phone next to your bed and don't put it under your pillow. My gosh, I see people do that. It drives me nuts. So anyway, I went down a tangent. But movement increases circulation, lymph flow, digestion, brain function. Movement is medicine. And it's so important that we keep the body in motion. So I don't want you thinking that sitting around is a normal thing. If you're a couch potato, every commercial, I want you up doing something. Another thing we consider normal, living in this state of constant stress. I did it for years. Running a practice, radio, television, running around, and I just thought this is normal. I'm working hard, and that's how you get to the top. That's how you become successful in life. Well, wore me out. And I finally realized, what can I delegate? And what I found was when I started to delegate, and it's hard to find people you can trust, of course, you know that. But when I found people I can delegate things to, my life slowed down. And so did my aging. Because after I made this switch in my life, people started saying, you're looking different. What's different about you? You look younger. So living in this constant level of stress is flood your body with cortisol, adrenaline, not a good idea. So when it comes to stress, there's physical stress, like I was talking about my hip pain. Chemical stress, and that's food, drugs, alcohol, environmental toxins, perfumes, hairsprays, colognes, carpet cleaners, new car smell, all these unnatural smells can be toxic chemicals. Cash register receipts. Had a patient come in the other day, and he was probably in his 60s. He was worried about his hormone levels. He said, Doc, I just feel like my muscles are getting weak. I'm losing my romantic drive. I just don't have energy like I used to. And he said, I heard you do a show one day, and you were talking about cash register receipts. And cash register receipts have something in it called bisphenol A. And bisphenol A is an endocrine disruptor. It acts like estrogen. And estrogen, or all hormones, or if you can imagine a key. And the hormone is a key. It's floating around in your blood, and it's looking for a keyhole to go in and activate. So, for example, insulin does that. So hormones, estrogen, let's say, is floating around. It goes into a cell and activates the cell to say, all right, I'm estrogen. I'm here. This is what you're supposed to do when I'm here. And estrogen is a growth hormone, and it counteracts testosterone. And he said, I wonder if there's a thing, because I just got this job. I just bought a miniature golf course. And what am I doing all day? Touching credit card receipts. He said, what do? I just bought this place. I said, wear gloves. Wear hypoallergenic gloves. Oh, I can do that. Problem solved. So living in constant stress, chemical stress, physical stress, emotional stress. Physical stress, my team of doctors are really good at. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I would love to be your doctor. So let's get to the cause of your physical pain. In most cases, it's easy. Not always. Sometimes there's tougher cases, but in most cases, It's a bone out of place. It's a muscle spasm, like Dr. Cat found on me. My gluteal muscle wasn't firing off. It wasn't working properly. And so we have to get the body balanced physically. And I really believe this is the missing link in healthcare. And we talk about things that, bad habits that are considered normal. One of our bad habits is we just go to the doctor and we have a problem, we get a pill. It's a bad habit. If we consider it normal, it's not normal. It's average, but it's not normal. Let's see if there's an alternative treatment for your care, for your problem. Now, I'm not saying stop your medicine, but there's alternative treatments for high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, aging, PMS, digestive issues, anxiety, depression, bipolar, ADD, ADHD. I'm not saying we have a cure for any of them. But what I am saying is that there are things we can incorporate into your body to reduce or lower the risk of having these problems. And if you do have them, starting to reverse some of them, sometimes all of it. So if you have a health issue, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestion, nutritional concerns, make an appointment to come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Just go to drjoe.com, drjoe.com, book your appointment. Do it now. Normally, the first visit is $940. For you, my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Let's find out what's the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it orthopedist? Is it neurologist? Is it naturopath? Is it nutrition? I don't know. Let's find that out. We make it very affordable so you can do it. And then we'll say this is the best way to go. And we accept most insurances, almost all insurances, Medicare. We're on the VA referral list. Car accidents. I teach other doctors. They can get their continuing education to keep their license current by coming to my seminars on auto accidents. If you're ever in a car accident, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So come see us if you're in an accident. Don't fall for these people calling you. Go see this doctor. Go see this lawyer. It's a scam. It's illegal. They're called runners or ambulance chasers. It's illegal. It's a felony for them to contact you. Did you know that? And they do it anyway. Why? Because they get paid. On the side, always cash, by the doctor, by the lawyer. It's a very dirty life, a dirty world, the auto accident world. So if you're in a car accident, if don't have an office near you, call me. I'll find you a doctor near you. drjoe.com. So stop suffering needlessly is what I'm getting at. Let's get to the cause of your problem. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about things we consider, bad habits we consider normal. Running on coffee instead of food. I hear this one a lot. I do nutrition evaluations on all my patients. And patients will say, well, Dr. Joe, I don't like to eat breakfast. Anybody say that? Like, raise your hand if that's you. I don't like to eat breakfast. Okay, so what do? I wake up, have a couple of cups of coffee, and I'm on my way. Maybe I just have one cup of coffee, and I'm on my way. I don't have a problem with you skipping breakfast. I have a problem with you using coffee as your source of energy. Because coffee doesn't really give you energy. Coffee blocks you from getting tired. Now, it does stimulate some nerves, of course, but one of the mechanisms it works is it goes into the brain, and there's a chemical that's released in your brain called adenosine. And adenosine is released, and it gets picked up by adenosine receptor sites, and adenosine makes you tired. Coffee looks like adenosine, caffeine. So it blocks up the adenosine receptor site so you can't absorb adenosine so you don't get tired. Now, it does stimulate the nerves as well, but now the brain says, wait a minute, something's not right here. I'm supposed to get tired. That's when I heal. There's a part of your brain called the glymphatic system. Yeah, it's a real word. Glymphatic system, when you sleep, it flushes out waste products and toxins in your brain so that the brain can start fresh. If you're artificially keeping the brain awake, it doesn't have a chance to kick in the glymphatic system to clean out the waste products the way it should. And over time, that can be devastating to your brain. So don't look at coffee as food. Skipping real fuel wrecks your blood sugar, your hormones, your adrenal health. So it's okay if you skip breakfast, but I want you to be doing water. I want you doing supplements, things like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, B-complex, nitric oxide. These things are going to give you natural energy that are medicinal, helpful, without the negative side effects. I can't do coffee. I have a headache if I do coffee. And I have been able to do coffee since I was a kid. Years ago, I used to make the donuts. I worked there. I was 14 years old. I lied. I told them I was 16. And I would work sometimes the night shift. I'd make donuts. I'd clean toilets. I'd scrape the counter. I did it all because I wanted a job. And I tried drinking coffee. I didn't like the way I felt, so I just stopped drinking it. And now it gives me a headache. So there are natural ways to get energy. and eating the right foods, keeping the body in motion like we just talked about, keeping the spine working properly, the nervous system working, fixing the digestive system. If you're tired all the time, there's a reason you're tired all the time. Now, I understand you miss a night of sleep, you want a little stimulant, all right. But when it's an everyday event, that means the body isn't working properly. And you could look at long-term damage from that. And coffee's loaded with pesticides, too. So if you're going to drink coffee, make sure it's organic coffee only. That's it. No negotiation. Organic only or don't drink it. You're going to really reduce the amount of pesticides you put in your body. So we're talking today about bad habits that we consider normal. And eating processed food is one of the big ones now. And a new word kind of came out in the past few years called ultra-processed foods. These are foods that have a very long shelf life. And they have ingredients that you couldn't make in your own kitchen. They have chemicals, they have additives, they have dyes. And so you couldn't make this potato chip in your kitchen because you don't have all those chemicals and additives. Now, if I want to make a potato chip, I can take an organic potato, slice it very thin, cook it in like coconut oil, for example, or avocado oil, and I would have a potato chip. Not good, but a heck of a lot less toxic than the commercial potato chips. So think about that. If I could look at the ingredients, if I can make this at home, that'd be great. I saw the other day, it was an organic soup, canned soup. And it's a brand that I've had before and I actually like it. And it had almost 1,300 milligrams of sodium in it. That's like a whole day supply of sodium in one can. Now, I don't have a problem with using salt, but it's got to be air-dried sea salt, Celtic salt. Baja Gold is a really good salt too, because that has other minerals aside from potassium and chloride. And it's actually good for you, as opposed to, 1,300 grams of table salt, highly toxic to the kidneys, the liver, changes the fluid dynamics in your body. Not a good thing for you. So we consider that, well, I'm going to eat canned soup. It's normal because this is a good one, no, because it's organic. Still not good. I make my own soup. I love making soup. I have a one-pot pressure cooker, and I'll make a soup in an hour. And it cost me 50 cents a serving maybe. And it's fresh, and I can control what's in it. I control what kind of salt is in there. I control the vegetables. I control everything. And I'll usually make a big pot, and I'll put it in jars, leave the jar about 1/4 empty because it's going to expand when you freeze it. I've made that mistake. And put it in the freezer. And then if I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have soup tomorrow for lunch, I'll take it out, put it on the counter overnight. My soup is ready. I'll heat it up, put it in a thermos, have soup for lunch. So there's so many easy, quick, simple, inexpensive things you can do, but you consider canned soup normal. No, I want you to kind of shift that, and processed food normal. I want you to shift that from your head. Constantly using your phone. We have this thing called doom scrolling now. It's a new term that kind of came out recently. But when you scroll constantly, you're getting this quick fix. You're getting this fix of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that gives you pleasure. So how do you get dopamine? How many people liked my picture? How many followers do I have? Did I pick up new followers today? I saw a picture that I liked. And you scroll and you get this dopamine hit. And what happens is now you become addicted. And scrolling, it really can become addictive. And you become addicted to it and you can't stop. I was at the dinner with my friends the other day. And he says, I can't stop scrolling, man. He says, I understand now the addiction. Every time I get a chance, I want to pick up my phone and scroll. I do it sometimes. I don't know what I did before my phone. When I was bored, what did I do? I'll watch TV and scroll sometimes. And I'll have to catch myself and say, wait a minute. I'll give myself this quick dopamine fix. Put the phone down. So using your phone too much is something we consider normal, but it's nonstop stimulation. And this quick, constant release of dopamine can be exhausting to the brain. And then what happens if you have a little dopamine, you want more. Dopamine is a pleasure neurotransmitter. If I eat sugar, it stimulates the nucleus accumbens or accumbens in the brain, which releases dopamine, and I get high from it. So what do I want? I want more sugar. If I'm getting a dopamine hit by scrolling, what do I want? I want more. In fact, when you start a relationship out, you're in a dopamine phase. Everything's wonderful, and they're great, and everybody's happy. And then you want to switch to the other neurotransmitters, downregulate that dopamine. And you go to norepinephrine, which gives you energy. And so serotonin phase makes you happy. And so when a new relationship, everything is wonderful. You're in that dopamine phase, but that can't last forever. And so it's okay to downregulate. And then you go into what's called the oxytocin phase. Oxytocin is a chemical in your brain that's the bonding neurotransmitter. You don't have to be all giddily. You don't have to be kissing all the time. Your oxytocin is bonding. And some people are just dopamine addicts. They're serial monogamists. They go from one relationship to another because they want that early fix. And as soon as it starts to fade out, they don't shift into the oxytocin mode, and the relationship ends. So, little dating advice from an old man here: be careful. If somebody comes on really strong and starts love bombing you, and you start getting this dopamine fix, it's the same thing with scrolling, same thing with sugar, same thing with drugs. I want more, and eventually there is no more. Okay, and then that person will break your heart. So just watch out for that. But scrolling is something we consider normal. Try to put the phone down. Try to go out and do something. It's amazing what happens when you start to downregulate that dopamine, how life becomes so much better. Another thing we consider normal is bragging about poor sleep. How many people do that? Oh, man, Doc, I haven't slept in weeks, man. But, I got to work, man. I got a family to feed. I understand that. But sleep is when the body kicks in the lymphatic system, again, the part of the brain that flushes out waste products and toxins. The body heals. And think about this. I can go 8 hours, which I do every day, so do you. My breath doesn't stink. My armpits don't stink. My skin doesn't get greasy. And yet when you sleep for 8 hours, all those things happen. Your body is detoxifying. It's getting the waste products out of the system. And if you don't sleep, those waste products build up. And that can become devastating to your overall health, your longevity, your happiness, your romantic function. So sleep is so important. And one of the things we do about sleep is we scroll all night, right? And you have the blue light, and that's an issue. So I'll tell you a little story. I try to keep your room as dark as possible. And in the winter, I like to take out a humidifier. And I like my humidifier because it makes me sleep better. And so I break out my humidifier, and I'm not sleeping one night. And I'm thinking, why is that? Well, the humidifier has a blue light on it, a night light. I thought, man, even though my eyes are closed, there's still light getting into my head, and I'm not being able to downregulate to go into that deep sleep, the REM sleep. And so I put a piece of tape over the blue light. Room was dark again. Everything was fine. So even if you have a TV light, that little box on your TV that has put something over it when you sleep. Try to get the room as dark as possible. If you can get blackout curtains, great. If you can't, buy yourself a $5 mask, a sleeping mask. Watch how much better you sleep. It's incredible when it's dark how much better you sleep. And temperature is a big thing, too, about sleep. I like it cold. I like a cold room with a lot of blankets. Some people like it a little warmer. So you may have to find a compromise in your life. And you may say, okay, well, I like it this way, she likes it that way. What can we do to find that happy medium? Because it's important that both of you get sleep, because otherwise you don't get sleep. Lymphatic system isn't working properly. Cortisol levels rise. The dopamine levels drop. It can cause big relationship problems, even something as simple as the temperature of the room. So talking these things out is really important because, again, we're talking about things bad habits we consider normal. Well, I consider it normal that my significant other yells at me all the time. I consider it normal we don't hold hands. Maybe we could work on that. Folks, I got to go to break. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Really got into relationship tangent there today. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you stayed with me, thank you. If you just joined me, welcome. Glad you could be here. We're talking today about bad habits that we consider normal. And this is a big issue because so many of us do things every day that we just consider, well, I've been doing it for years. They consider it normal. And I've had that before, too. Well, Dr. Joe, I've been drinking coffee for years. You're telling me I need to stop? Well, you got a lot of damage from it. You can stop if you want to. It's up to you, but this is what's going to happen if you continue. Well, Dr. Joe, I've had back pain my entire life. And I take an x-ray, and they've got severe degenerative arthritis in their spine. Yeah, but I've had this pain my whole life. That's why you have severe degenerative arthritis. So just because it's been there forever doesn't mean it's good. So normal and average are not the same thing. Normal is what it should be. Average is what everybody else has. So we're talking today about these things that you consider normal, which really aren't normal, but they may be average. We talked about stress, but living in this fight or flight mode, where your body is always so stressed out all the time, because you have two different nervous systems. The sympathetic nervous system speeds you up. Parasympathetic nervous system slows you down. If you're running in this sympathetic mode, you're always stressed out, always hyped. That's not a good place to be because you have to downshift or downregulate into the parasympathetic mode. So sympathetic nerve is digestion, sex, sleep, relaxation, time with family. That's parasympathetic. I'm sorry. That's parasympathetic. Sympathetic mode is where I am right now. I'm talking fast. You're listening. We're doing a lot of work together. That's the sympathetic mode. So if I'm always in this sympathetic mode, I'm not going to go to the bathroom properly. I'm not going to have the right romantic life that I should. I'm not going to sleep right. And so my body is going to be high in cortisol. It's going to cause me to lay down fat. I'll put on weight. So you got to be able to shift from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. So how do we do that? Let's say you're super stressed out. A lot of us are, and sometimes we all are. You want to kick into parasympathetic. So there's a couple of things we can do. Number one, if you get your shoulders massaged. How many people love having their shoulders massaged? A lot of people do. Some people don't. But the shoulders are controlled by something called the spinal accessory nerve. And the spinal accessory nerve is what we call a parasympathetic nerve. It calms you down. I can get my back of my calf rubbed. It feels good. But the shoulders, it just feels so good when I have that done because you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Taking a warm towel. Take a warm towel. You can take a hand towel, wet it, and put it in the microwave. Lay it across your abdomen. The heat is going to activate the parasympathetic functions of the digestive system, what's called the enteric nervous system, and it's going to help downregulate you and help you to relax. I've done this already. After a radio show, I used to play hockey. After a hockey game, couldn't get to sleep. So I take a warm towel, lay it across my abdomen, start doing some deep breathing. Next thing you know, I was out. It's pretty cool. It works for babies too, by the way. When babies are fussy. It's kind of neat. They don't know you're kicking in their parasympathetics. You can rub their shoulders too. So kicking in the parasympathetics is really important to get the body to rest. And another thing we consider normal is, of course, back to the food we eat, is using seed oils. Canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil. These are all what we call ultra-processed foods high in omega-6 fatty acids. They're called seed oils. And the seed oils, let's assume I got an organic canola oil. It's probably okay. It's high in omega-6 fatty acids, which cause inflammation, but when we ultra-process it, that's when it becomes a problem. Organic corn oil, maybe, still high in omega-6. It's not ideal, but if you're using regular oils, if you're eating fried foods, you're just killing yourself. I do this, and I wish I could stop it, but I can't. I go to a restaurant, and I look at what people are eating, and I think about this famous guy who said something once, and he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." And I'm watching these people on oxygen, in a wheelchair, having fried shrimp. Now, shrimp is one of the worst things you could eat. It's high in heavy metals like mercury. Even Moses, when he wrote Leviticus, said don't eat shellfish or shrimp. So, and that was thousands of years ago when the water was clean. So they're sitting there eating fried shrimp and margarine on their white bread and, maybe a piece of steak. And I shake my head and I say, wow, they don't know what they're doing and they're killing themselves. And I always wonder if they did know, would they change it? Some people know and don't. So, but you guys are different. Of course, you're listening to the show, so obviously you're different than everybody else. So the only oils you should ever use are extra virgin organic olive oil, extra virgin organic coconut oil, and organic avocado oil. And I had somebody call my show the other day, and she said, Dr. Joe, I bought some organic olive oil at a farmer's market, and it was from Italy. And one of the tricks I want you to do is to find out if you have good olive oil. It doesn't work for coconut oil is hard when you put it in the refrigerator anyway, and avocado oil doesn't work. Put the olive oil in the refrigerator. And overnight, then look at it. Is it cloudy? Did it get thick? If it did, it's probably a good olive oil. If it didn't get thick, it probably isn't. Another trick you can use is what we call the 2-cough test. Take a teaspoon of the olive oil, and it should bite the back of your throat, and you have to go, ahem. That's how you know, 2 coughs. That's how you know you have a good olive oil. If it's not, if it goes down easy, just like any other oil, chances are it's been cut. And one study I read said about 70% or more of the olive oil in this country is not pure olive oil. So just because it comes from a farmer's market, and I said to the lady, I said, listen, you're in Georgia, right? She said, yeah. I said, how many olive plants are there that people are producing olive oil in Georgia? They're buying it from somewhere else. She goes, yeah, it said Italy on it. I said, yeah, well, obviously. So they're just buying it and reselling it. They don't know what they're selling. They're just getting a product and reselling it. So just be careful with the oils, especially the seed oils. They're so toxic to the body. And I worry that you're putting these toxic chemicals in your body and they can they can lead to things like diabetes, brain fog, dementia, digestive issues, speeding up the aging process, romantic problems for men and women, hormone disruption. I can go on and on and on with the seed oil. So please be very careful if you're going to use an added oil. Try not to do it anyway, but if you do, extra virgin organic olive oil, coconut, or avocado oil. Now, you can probably do a walnut oil or something like that, but those are things people don't usually use. But stay away from those seed oils. They are so bad for you. Another thing we consider normal, which is not good, is just drinking tap water. Now, I understand it's filtered. I understand it's supposed to be safe, but chlorine, fluoride, contaminants stress out your gut, your thyroid. They clog up your detoxification pathways. And I'm very happy to report that the government is looking to take fluoride out of the water. I support this. I was talking to my dentist friend the other day, my dentist, guy I go to, and he was cleaning my teeth, and we're talking, and I said something about, water filter. He says, I hear this stuff about fluoride. I hear pros and cons. He says, what do you know? So I sent him some research on fluoride, and he said, wow. As a dentist, I was always told fluoride is good. Now, fluoride might be good if you put it on your teeth. It might help prevent cavities. I'm not arguing that point. But when you drink it, it goes in your body. It's not on your teeth. It does nothing for your teeth because you're drinking it. And the fluoride is toxic inside the body as well. And chlorine, that we chlorinate our water, why? To kill bacteria, can also kill off the good bacteria in your colon. And it acts kind of like an antibiotic almost. And it can kill off good bacteria. So I'm not a fan of these components. And he said, wow, you really enlightened me. I never thought about that. And that's what I want these shows and podcasts and lectures that I do and articles that I write. I want you to be enlightened and go, I never thought about that. Thank you for giving me the research on it. I don't have a dog in a fight. I don't care if you use fluoride or not. I don't care if you use chlorine or not. I'm going to give you the facts. And what you do with those facts are totally up to you. If you want to listen to me, great. If you don't, that's your call too. I have a double-phase whole house water filter. It even filters out microplastics. Now, it's not cheap, but it's worth it. Some studies say we eat about a credit card's worth of microplastics in a week. And a microplastic, if you don't have a way to break them down, and if we don't break them down, they can get into the cells and cause an inflammatory reaction. And now there's something called, ultra small microplastics or something like that, where it's even smaller and causes more damage. So we're bombarding our body with these hormones, these endocrine disrupting hormones from perfumes and hairsprays and colognes and cash register receipts and carpet cleaners and coatings you put on your couch so it's non-stick and non-stain and fire retardant. All these things are very toxic to the body. Soap, shampoo, conditioners, toothpaste. We're bombarding our body every day with these toxic chemicals, and then we wonder why we're the sickest nation in the world. We spend more money per capita. I think we're ranked 60th in the world, actually. Cuba has a better healthcare system than we do. What are we doing wrong? A lot. And a lot of things you have control over, and that's why I want these shows to be here. So I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about bad habits that we consider normal. And there's a lot of them. And here's one you probably never thought of. Wearing synthetic clothes. Your skin is an organ. And there's plastics and chemicals that can get absorbed actually through your clothes. So a couple of rules I want you to consider when it comes to clothing. Number one, wash your clothes before you wear them. No matter what they are, wash them. Now, I wash underwear, socks, bed sheets, and towels in hot water. But it wears out the clothes faster. I understand that. I use natural detergents as well. Natural fragrance-free detergents. So that's going to extend the life of my clothes as well. But viruses, germs, bacteria, socks, underwear, pillowcases, I always wash them in hot water. All my bed sheets. Because you sweat, and there's little bugs live in your sweat, and they live on your bed sheets. Wash them in hot water about once a week. And the underwear especially, you want to make sure it's as cotton as possible. Now, not everything is 100% cotton, because it wouldn't have any shape to it. Now, underwear has elastic in it and stuff. But as much cotton as possible. You can get them like 95% cotton with maybe 5% spandex or something like that. That's manageable. But the more cotton, especially with socks and underwear, the better. Other clothes as well, Natural fibers are better. I've been talking about this for years, and it's finally making to the mainstream now. And I love when something makes the mainstream. And I think I talked about that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I understand you're not going to get 100% cotton shirts, probably not, but as much cotton as you can. Or linen works too. Now, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about habits that we consider normal, bad habits we consider normal. And one of them I want to talk about is pain. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches, blurred vision, sciatica. Well, doc, I've had that all my life. My neck always hurts when I wake up in the morning. That's a warning sign. It's telling you something's wrong. So what I want to do is I want to offer that you come see me and my team of doctors, and let's see if we can get the cause of your pain and get to the cause and then fix it. Biggest complaint I get is, why didn't I do this sooner, doc? I've been in pain my whole life. And after, sometimes it's only a few visits, doc, I feel great. So make an appointment, drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. I've reduced that to $299 for you, my listeners. Exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. I do this because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic, nutrition, naturopath, orthopedist, neurologist, neurosurgeon, psychiatrist? I don't know. But if you go into the loop, the medical loop, you get referred from one doctor to another, to another, to another, and nobody really gives you an answer. Anybody have that happen? I know you have. Happens all the time. And that's okay. That's not how the system is set up. It's not the business model. Our business model is get to the cause of your healthcare problem if we can. So make an appointment, drjoe.com. And we accept almost all insurances too. And car accidents. If a car is damaged, you're damaged. You need to call me. Even if I don't have an office near you, I'll find you a doctor to go to, because there's so much scamming in the car accident world. It breaks my heart how many people are scammed out of their money and they don't get the care they need. Even if they got the care they need and got scammed, to be different. But they're not getting anything. They're just getting jerked around until the case settles and then you're kicked out. So drjoe.com, make an appointment. I really want to be your doctor. And again, we accept most insurances. So we're talking today about bad habits that we consider normal. And pain certainly is one of them. I hear that all the time. I've always had pain in my back. Well, you shouldn't. Get it fixed. Had a lady come in this week, and I didn't see her on the first visit. It was a day I was at the radio station. And she came in, and I went over her x-rays with her. And I always look at everything before I go in the room. The lady has 2 fractures in her spine. And I showed her the fractures, and she's probably in her 60s. And it concerned me because I didn't want to break the lady's heart, but I had to tell her she has 2 fractures in her spine. And she said, I've had this pain for years. And the doctors just kept giving me medication. One doctor gave me injections. Nobody ever said she had fractures. So I sent her out for some testing to see if she has osteoporosis. I'm going to guess she does. And the bones just keep collapsing. Now, if we don't do something to help reverse that bone strength, and usually we can, she's going to continue to have more fractures until eventually she dies. So we got to increase that bone strength. And there are supplements and there's nutrition things I can recommend that may help as well. But the doctors never found 2 fractures, obvious fractures. It wasn't even like, well, I'm a real good radiologist and I spotted that. No, it was clear as day. So I digress. But it's good to get quality care. And I'm a patient at my offices too, because I want to get the best care possible. All right, let's keep talking about bad habits we consider normal. We clean too much. I know a lot of people want to hear that. Now, it's a good idea to clean your counters and clean your toilets and everything like that, but I know I like to garden. And one of the things I do when I garden, if I can, is not wear gloves. There are certain things I have to wear gloves on. I don't want to hurt myself. But if I'm just digging holes and planting, I don't wear gloves because there's good bacteria, probiotics in soil. Now, my gardens are all organic. They've been organic for decades. And so I know what's in the soil. And I know there's not rusted nails or anything like that. So it's a good idea not to have to clean everything constantly. One of my concerns I had, when people start wearing masks all the time, you need some exposure. I'm not saying a lot, and there's a fine line, but there are things I take like Dr. Joe's Wellness Booster, Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic to stimulate my immune system and help me fight off everyday life. And this season, we put the Wellness Booster and Seasonal Tonic 40% off. And we did that because we want to get these out to the you. Well, I take Wellness Booster every day to keep my immune system strong. I take Seasonal Tonic every hour if I start feeling under the weather. And they're 40%. They're on the website, drjoe.com. So, yes, you need to have your house clean, but always use natural cleaners. Chemical cleaners are going to get in your body and kill off the good bacteria in your body as well. You're going to inhale them. You're going to get through your skin. So natural cleaners are a better choice. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes they don't work as well. You have mold somewhere, probably not going to work as well. But if you're going to use something like bleach it, get out of the room. You can take hydrogen peroxide, put it on a cloth. Let's say you have a mold in your shower. Put it on a cloth, lay the cloth over the mold, and then leave it there. Leave it overnight. The hydrogen peroxide will kill a lot of it, and then you can wash it away. It's not as fast as the bleach, but it's a whole lot safer. The big thing, and I got to keep coming back to this, is suppressing your symptoms and not treating the cause. We consider that normal. Now, if I have a headache, I want to get rid of my headache. I might take an acetaminophen, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. I don't know how many I need. But with things like acetaminophen, sometimes you got to dose, large dose, not big doses, but the maximum dose you can take because it works better than trying to spread it out. But then if I have a headache, I want to say, why do I have the headache? Is it a pinched nerve? Am I dehydrated? Do I have a digestive issue? Did I expose myself to artificial sweeteners, monosodium glutamate, maybe toxic chemicals in the air? Maybe it's perfume I was around. So I'm okay covering up the symptoms, but I always want to find out why I have the problem. This is a unique way of looking at healthcare. Healthcare is usually got a headache, we got a new drug. You watch TV, every third commercial, especially on newscast, they find that older people watch a newscast. I think it's every second or third commercial is for a drug. And they forget to list all, and now they're saying that's not all the symptoms. That's not all the side effects. I heard that the other day. That's not all the side effects. But they told you these are some of them. There's more. You want more? Go to my website. They're all listed there. Nobody's going to dig that deep. I don't anyway. So suppressing your symptoms. Acid reflux. This is the quintessential one. Acid reflux, we give you medication to lower your stomach acid so the acid reflux goes away. It works. Read the directions. They all say the same thing. Don't use for more than like 2 weeks or a month. That's it. How many of you have taken acid reflux medication for more than a month? Raise your hands. A lot of you have. You know it's dangerous. You can't absorb calcium, B12, iron, and magnesium properly. You're going to increase your risk of osteoporosis because you're not absorbing calcium. It affects the brain function. You're not producing amino acids like tryptophan, and tryptophan becomes serotonin. Tyrosine becomes dopamine. Dopamine becomes norepinephrine. Glutamine becomes GABA. There's a lot of science for you right there. So the brain can't work properly. And yet you're taking these pills for years, sometimes decades. And many times with acid reflux, the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm. So what do we need to do? We need to physically pull the stomach away from the diaphragm and then increase your stomach acid. Because acid causes the valve between your esophagus and your stomach to close. So increasing the stomach acid can actually help with acid reflux. Ain't that a kick in the head? So we consider it normal to take these antacids or these medications, but the long-term side effects can be devastating. When many times it's as simple as pulling the stomach down, taking some apple cider vinegar with every meal. We had a storm the other day, and I stayed home, and I made split pea soup. Now, if I eat split pea soup, it doesn't digest well. So what did I do? I took some Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes, and I took some apple cider vinegar, and no digestive problems. Nothing. So there are a lot of things we can do to help the digestive system, to help the brain work better, the body work better, keep you young. I was at an event the other day, and there's a bunch of doctors there, orthopedists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, chiropractors. And I was talking to a group, and there was a guy I didn't know, and somebody says, "Oh, you know Joe?" And I said, "Hey, Joe Esposito." And the guy looked at me. He said, "You're Dr. Joe?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I expected somebody much older." And I kind of laughed. I said, "Well, thank you, I guess. I don't know." And I told him how old I was. He goes, "Wow, you look about 15 years younger than you are." Well, it's not that I have any special genes. It's that I just take care of myself. And I want you to do what I do. If you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. It's just that simple. And there's a lot of little things when it comes to health. I just wrote an article. I'm a syndicated newspaper columnist as well. And I wrote an article on losing weight. And I said losing weight isn't a thing. It's a lifestyle. It's a myriad of different things we do to keep our weight under control. And it's how we eat. It's when we eat. It's plastics that we're being exposed to. It's what kind of food we do. Do we wait till we're hungry? Do we eat when we're not hungry? Do you have junk food in the house? I used to be fat. I understand the struggle of fat people. And I don't have to struggle with my food every meal anymore. Every day, I'm sorry. I struggle with my meals every day. I have to look at the food and say, is this the best food that I can eat? All right, folks, I'm almost out of time. Make an appointment to come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I want to be your doctor. Maybe I don't have an office near you. Maybe I could find somebody near you. The website is a great way to stay in touch with me, drjoe.com, because I want to help get to the cause of your healthcare problems and not just treat the symptoms. And we even accept your insurance. So